Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about brand concepts ka Q3, how the result has been, and what has been the management commentary like, the entire result update. So first thing, if you look at brand concept, they've always guided for a 30 to 35% kind of growth, right? And now you're seeing them on a year-on-year basis, you see them still doing well in terms of top line, 40 to 42% ka growth kiya hai. But what you're seeing is QOQ, there has been a dip in terms of revenue. Not just that, if you look even at their profit, so profit has been quite flat even on a year-on-year basis. Agar aap dekhte ho, year-on-year it has I think last year it was 2.8 and this year it has been 3 crores, right? So not a lot. Even in terms of QOQ, the revenue, the PAT has been down from 3.7 to 3 crores. So not a great set of numbers you can tell, right? But what is the reason for it? If you look at year on year, of course, like I told you, good, nothing to complain in terms of top line. But QOQ ka agar aap dekhte ho, there has been three major reasons why we are seeing such a drag in terms of revenue. Number one reason is if you look at the consumer demand has been, subdued. It hasn't been great in terms of retail. One of the reason is because if you look all this while, there was at least an element of COVID. After COVID, we saw a huge travel rush that you can call, and now that has normalized. The pent up demand jo tha, I think the best word is pent up demand. So the pent up demand has been completely normalized right now, and there has been a subdued growth, right? So this is one of the main reasons. The second reason is the corporate sales. So earlier corporate sales used to be around 16% if you look at Q1 and Q2, and this quarter corporate sale is around hardly 12%, right? And see, there is no, like, you can't put a pin into this key, like why corporate sales has been hardly 12, because this can keep changing. One quarter it can even be 20%, it can be 12. You cannot predict this, as I tell. So that is another reason. And the last reason is your e-commerce. When you talk about e-commerce, for brand concept, there are two divisions. One is the B2B e-commerce and the other one is the B2C. When you talk about B2B e-commerce, you deal with the likes of Amazon, Flipkart and Myntra, and these kind of platforms. Whereas when you talk about B2C, you directly sell either through a website or through a marketplace. So if you look at the e-commerce B2C, there has been no problem. But when you talk about B2B, here what has happened, they use a word such as strategy. I think one of the reason why they want to work on this part of revenue or work on this part is because when you talk about Myntra, Flipkart and Amazon, they end up giving a lot of discounts on the product, right? As a result, what happens, and you might not be giving the same kind of discount in your offline stores. So there is a huge divergence in price, and you also don't want to lose on your brand value if a third party aggregator is giving so much discount ultimately at the end of the day, right? Because you're talking about a premium or a bridge to luxury brand here, right? So as a result, what happened, this is where they want to curtail and probably work with them in a different form. So there also the revenue has has been a bit sluggish. So all of the three reasons, if you combine together, is a reason why QOQ mein there has been a dip. Okay, so that is the major, I would say, the crux of the con call. Other than that, if you look, I think one of the things that everybody was looking forward to is if they are going to introduce new brands, because right now we have Tommy Hilfiger, and unka Tommy Hilfiger ka jo license jo tha, even that has been renewed. We have UCB and we have Aeropostale, right, in brand concept. But the other brands that are there, it has not been introduced right now, and also there has been a delay and they're running behind, I think, around 45 to 60 days, not just with introduction of new brands but also introducing different products within the existing brands. Like the UCB and Aeropostale was introduced recently, right, around 2 to 3 quarters back, and we saw with UCB and Aeropostale there was this backpacks that was introduced, and small leather goods. But there are other certain SKUs that has been a bit prolonged, and they are working on that. Other than that, with the existing brands jo hai, they are I think with Tommy Hilfiger, they have introduced the kids version, the kids backpack and everything. So UCB in that kids version is doing really well because it nails that price point, whereas with Tommy Hilfiger it is a bit of a high price point even for a kids backpack. It ranges around 2000 to 2500. But having said that, there are people who want their kids to wear that, and they don't mind spending it. So of course that is also adding to another stream of revenue. And I think other than that, one of the thing is, I think a lot of y'all saw that Guess Ka Jo Tha Ek brand, you saw that there was, I think somebody had shared a picture of that on Twitter telling probably they have introduced the brand, because you could see that in their stores, in their bagline stores. And apparently they have not, like I told you, they have not introduced any new brands, and in fact there has been a delay when it comes to introduction of new brands. Instead of that, what they're doing is, let's say if there is a backline store, they're providing a certain space for other people, like for example Travel Blue is one such company where which sells very small leather goods or eye mask, or the pillow which you use in flights, right? The sleeping pillow. So all of these items they sell. So what they're doing is they're giving a small part of the stores to these people, and they're seeing like how it is going forward, right? And apparently it's been working well, and that is why you saw Geska brand or Geska products in their stores. They have been giving a certain part of their store, a small space in their stores, probably 100 square feet, 50 to 100 square feet for these people, and seeing how it goes. And of course they do want to introduce these kind of brands such as Guess and Coach, because these people these brands not only sell a bit in a higher price point of, let's say, 10 to 15k, which is what brand concepts is targeting when it comes to ladies handbag. Not only that, they also want to introduce ladies handbag portfolio, because this is also one of a great one of a growing markets, and that is what they're trying to do. And they're in talks with Tommy Hilfiger to introduce the ladies handbag. Right now they only have the luggage and small leather goods. They do not have the license to sell Tommy Hilfiger ka ladies bag, ladies handbag that you talk about it, and that is what they're trying to do. Other than that, if you see nothing much than the fact that उनका अगर merger के बारे में बात करें तो IFF का merger, I think it is going to happen by the end of next month, March, and probably by April it will keep adding to the revenue. That is what they are planning to do so. In terms of their manufacturing plant that they are going to set up, it will be completely operational since after Q1 FY25, and probably 2 months later down the line it will add to the revenue, because right now they have done all the necessary work that is need to be done, like laying the concrete and everything, getting the puja done, and all of that stuff is done. But the entire construction work will take 10 to 12 months, and then after that ordering the machine will take another 6 months. So tentatively by Q1 FY25 it has to be ready. Now the only interesting part this time has been they are introducing, or they're going into canteen stores. This is one of the new addition. Now I know canteen stores, when you look at other brands such as VIP or Safari, it was plagued with problems. This is something I think there you'll see the market share decreasing for VIP and Safari. But here they're a bit optimistic here, because according to them the margins won't be affected. Like in fact, if you talk about retail, there's a chunk where wholesale will take one margin and then retail will take another margin. But here, since right now canteen stores has been very organized, unlike before, because right now if you go to canteen stores you need to have your own ID card, no relatives and other people can come and buy here. And since it has been extremely organized, they see that it will be better. Now as of now it is a very small order. They are not, it's not going to be like 5% or 10% of the revenue. They will see how it goes. If it is good, well and good, they will keep increasing the share, they will keep increasing the increasing the number of canteen stores. Right now they're just going by one region, one depot, and going forward they'll see how it works. Other than that, if you talk about the product mix has been somewhat similar. If you see the entire travel gear and the backpacks, that is contributing around 60% of the revenue right now. Travel gear is around 42%, and the rest 11% is from your backpacks, and the other is by gym bags and other things. So totally 60% is coming from that. The last thing is in terms of store expansion. They have around 38 stores right now, and going forward I think by the end of the year they'll have around 40 to 42 stores, and likewise in 18 to 24 months they would like to take it to around 100 stores. So this has been more or less what happened in the con call, the crux of the con call. But let me tell you one thing, what I think I don't appreciate here is again this the fact that the quote unquote words used such as the consumer demand has been low. That is a big red flag, because see, like I told you, at the end of the day you need to have an environment where you can be the best of the best management, you can be the best of the best product, but unless and until there is no demand for your product, ultimately you can't do well. So one is a consumer demand. The other thing is, in fact I think one of the reason consumer demand, I think somebody had asked in the con call like how will Q4 be, because Q3 has been a bit low. They told कि like Q3 में अगर आप देखते हो, in October month even the like for like sales wasn't that great because World Cup था. So because of World Cup nobody, the footfall of the store was very less, even on the weekends especially. But going forward क्या हुआ है, Jan and Feb में again quote unquote the words by the management was, in Jan and Feb the growth was decent, okay, and in March again it is going to be, it is not a great month for them, because again corporate sales will be very low at that time, because everybody's entering into New Year in April and they don't want to like cluster their balance sheet. So March is going to be very subdued. These were the words used, and pent up demand, again like I told you, right now the growth is stabilizing. These are the kind of words. Of course it doesn't paint a good picture, although the company does tell they would achieve that 500 crore revenue mark in 3 to 4 years, and they will double the store count in the next in the next 18 to 24 months. The fact that the consumer demand is low, and the subdued growth and pent up demand is not is it was there, and now pent up demand is not there. All this while we were talking about how great the demand is, there was no how do I put this, there was no word of pent up demand, and right now pent up demand has entered the vocabulary. So it doesn't really paint a good picture right now any longer for brand concept. So I think going forward, at least one thing is that you will it could be very difficult in short term to see that 60 to 70% growth once upon a time that brand concept was doing. Probably that 30 to 35% growth maybe you can expect on account of smaller base of last year, but going back to that glory days could be a bit tough, and yeah, after that let's see what happens in Q4, because again, it's something to wait and watch out for. But overall, the result and the result has been a weak, and management commentary, again, like I told you, is not that great or strong. So that's it about brand concept. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.